What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Stack Bitcoin Show. I'm Roman, your beginner-friendly guide to saving in Bitcoin. Round of applause from the live studio audience for Hard Huddle. What up? Am I too loud, Hard Huddle? It feels like I'm clipping. Sounds like I'm clipping. Maybe the music's loud. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. There we go. Oh, perfect. Okay, good. I'm like right there at the brink, right at 0 dB. Perfect. Alrighty, well, we're back, and I have some amazing, great news. I decided to, like I said before, work on the show a little bit more than we're already doing, right? Because we're doing an episode every day here live, and that's a pretty significant accomplishment. We've done it for over 2 years, and I'm just not seeing the growth that I want to see, okay? And I was thinking, well, maybe the show's not good enough, right? So I'm looking around, trying to figure it out. And I think it's just because we just do lives, mostly lives, right? And when we do lives, those are not very shareable, I guess, right? People don't sit through a whole live stream most of the time, right? You have to basically know what you're going to get, what you're in for, before you commit to watching a 30-minute, 40-minute, hour-long live stream. So in order to like get the channel out there and be able to share what we're about without having somebody commit to a long show on the first attempt, I'm making videos. So I started to make videos. Like last night we put out the channel trailer. I mean, you should have a channel trailer. You should have a channel trailer as soon as you start your channel, but I just never got around to it. I just went hard on the live streams, right? So our channel trailer is out. It's doing pretty good, actually. And we've picked up 3 subscribers since I put it out. So maybe that's what I needed to do. Maybe that's what I need to keep doing. So I have a whole list of videos that I'm going to make over the next few weeks, and over the next 6 weeks. I'm gonna try to do an edited video every week in addition to the live streams we're doing here, right? I know it's a lot more content, it's a lot more time, but I cut back on all the other things that I'm doing. So I cut back on my accordion. I cut back on what else did I cut back on? My TikToking. I cut back on TikTok so I can continue to focus harder on this show. So hopefully it'll pay off, and we're gonna keep it going. You know, like we're not gonna get to 1 Bitcoin, which is the goal here, by splitting up my time making accordion content and trying to grow a TikTok account in parallel to this, right? So we're still gonna do the 21 Moto stuff, and we're still gonna do this show, and we're gonna add edited videos to this channel so we can see if that helps us grow, okay? Because the idea with this channel is to hopefully one day, and I thought it would have happened by now, is to be able to monetize this channel in one way or another, or in more ways than one, whether it's through like affiliate services, or like maybe even me just helping people set up their wallets from scratch. You know, like if you're new to Bitcoin and you need help, like a consultant, right? Not financial advice. It's just, it would be the technical portion of it. So like helping you get set up, and teaching you how Bitcoin works, how to do a transaction, how to back it up to self-custody, cold wallet or warm wallet, whatever you feel comfortable with. But it would be like that type of deal, like a consultant type of thing, right? So those are all things that would create revenue. And the reason I wanted to create revenue is because that's the way we're going to get to 1 Bitcoin here on the show. I don't think we're going to get to 1 Bitcoin by doing $20 a day for Monday through Friday. I know it still helps and it's still fun to do, but I think we have to step it up here on the show to be able to reach our goal of 1 Bitcoin before it gets away from us, right? Like if Bitcoin goes to like $1 million, then we don't have any hope of ever documenting the process of getting to 1 Bitcoin, okay? And I think part of the journey, in the part of the DCA journey, is that you realize, oh shoot, man, I need to DCA harder. I need to figure out ways to generate more revenue so I can DCA harder, right? And I think it's just a natural process. It's just a natural evolution of being a Bitcoiner, right? Of like understanding what it is and wanting more of it, right? So it's pretty good. We're going to chill here for another 5 minutes, just rambling and talking about random stuff so that we have time for the algorithm to get out there and do its thing and message everybody to let them know that we're actually live. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Oh, so I saw everybody hit the like button. Thanks, Heart Huddle. I'm going to tap the screen a little bit for some hearts. And we're going to kick the show off at the 10-minute mark. I find that it takes about 10-15 minutes for me to get the alert that the show started on other channels that I follow and actually have the notifications turned on for. Like, I always show up to like the Pleb Underground stream and I'm always about 10 minutes behind or 15 minutes in. Hey Carlos, what up? Hey Carlos, did you get the notification for the show starting, and how long ago did you get it? Did you just get it, or did you get it like 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago? Because I'm trying to figure out how long I should wait before continuing on to the actual show. Because I realized that notifications go out. Okay, cool. About 5 minutes ago. Okay, cool. Yeah. So the notifications go out, and then it takes a while for people actually to get here. So I'm debating whether I should start the show counter on the screen for 10 minutes before the show starts to kind of get the notifications out and get that going, or if I should just jump on here right at. Well, there's three variations. I could jump on early, like around 1:50, and just ramble, talk for 10 minutes, or we can set a timer with the screen that's already live where you guys can chat with each other for 10 minutes before the show actually starts to get the juices going, to get the algorithm pushing out the notifications. Or we just keep it like how we've been doing it. Start right at 2 o'clock, and I just spend the first 10 minutes of the show rambling, right? Originally, my thought was against that because I thought, okay, well, if somebody watches a replay, they don't want to sit through a bunch of rambling, right? They don't want to sit through the updates. They just want to get the show done, right? But then that hasn't been working, right? Because I've been focused on trying to help the beginners to learn about the show, right? But yeah, I've been trying to like keep the show like as much beginner friendly as possible, but the beginners aren't in here. I'm preaching to the choir, right? So I'm gonna forego having to make the show like more concise and more we're still gonna keep the segments, but I'll be more loose with the formatting from here on out, because this portion of the show, the live stream portion of the show, should be more loose, right? It should be for the people that already kind of are familiar with the show and they know what we're doing. And yeah, we're still tracking our buys and everything, but the beginners are not going to come in here from scratch. I realize that after 2 years. So I have to make the content, I have to make the videos that are geared towards beginner stuff, right? And I'll keep those concise and short and to the point. This is more expansive. This format for the live stream is more expansive, so it's more conducive for like communications and the back and forth between me and you guys. Okay, all right. So we're coming up on the 10-minute mark, so let's go ahead and get the show started with today's first segment, of course, and that is the Bitcoin strength. What up, Carlos? Good to see you in here. Round of applause from the live studio audience for Carlos. We're going to jump into the Bitcoin strength. And today, the price of Bitcoin is $107,576 Bitcoin. Right there, even Steven. And today, you can buy 929 Satoshis for a single dollar. What is a Satoshi? A Satoshi is a fraction of a Bitcoin, just like a dollar is made up of 100 cents. A Bitcoin is made up of 100 million Satoshis. Do I need to do that every time? I guess we do. For a single penny today, you can buy 9 Satoshis. For a dollar, you can buy 929 Satoshis. Why is that important? Because it means you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin all at once. You don't save up to buy a Bitcoin, you save in Bitcoin. And that portion of savings that's set aside in Bitcoin automatically and magically has all of the same properties as having a whole Bitcoin. So you can shield as much value as you want from inflation. You don't have to have $107,000 to get started. You can start with $1, $10, $100, $1 million, whatever you feel comfortable with. All right. That is the Bitcoin strength. Yeah, that worked. I was looking at the videos from the first episode of the Stack Bitcoin show, Carlos. And yeah, dude, it's crazy to see my face. I look younger. In 2 years I've aged. And what else? I think I like my hair short. I'm gonna cut my hair again to make it shorter. It'll be helpful in jiu-jitsu. I won't have hair in my eyes. Also for boogie boarding would be nice. But to see that line of the spreadsheet back when the spreadsheet was brand new on day one, the strategic Bitcoin reserve spreadsheet, that thing had like our first purchase, $5. It got us 18,000 satoshis. It's crazy. Now $5 will get you what? Not even 5,000 satoshis. It's pretty wild. All right, let's do the why we stack. Here we go. Why we stack? Why do we save in Bitcoin? If you're new to Bitcoin, this is what we call the orange pill portion of the show. This is where I offer you to free yourself. This is when I offer you the means to free yourself from the fiat matrix, the means to free yourself from the day-to-day, paycheck-to-paycheck work hamster wheel where you can never save enough because the money you're saving in is losing purchasing power as you're saving in it, and your salary is not increasing as your purchasing power is debased. So you'll never be able to get what you want to get. You'll never be able to retire, and you'll have to work every single day of your life until your dying day. How do we fix that? By saving in Bitcoin. It's super simple, right? So if you're interested, start learning Bitcoin. Start learning about Bitcoin, okay? Bitcoin is a solution to the problem, right? But in order to understand what Bitcoin truly is, you must understand the problem, right? And the problem is that the money is getting debased. You lose purchasing power by saving in dollars, pesos, euros, whatever government currency. They're taking your purchasing power just by holding that value in the form of that money. Okay? You take that money that you need to save for long term and you convert it to Bitcoin, and now that Bitcoin, that money, that value is shielded from the grasp of inflation, and just that alone will take you out of that hamster wheel. You'll still be like kind of on a hamster wheel with the day-to-day dollar economy, but your savings will come off the hamster wheel, right? Your savings will start working towards your goal instead of pushing you away from your goal when you save in dollars. Okay, so it's super simple. That's why we save in Bitcoin, and that's why we only do Bitcoin here on the show. Okay, we keep it super simple. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. If you're watching the replay, leave a comment, and I'll respond to that in the following video. Super basic. We've been here for over 2 years, and our goal is to stack 1 Bitcoin to show humanity that it's possible, that you don't have to be a giant corporation to have a strategic Bitcoin reserve. You don't have to wait for the world to switch to the Bitcoin standard, right? You can have a strategic Bitcoin reserve right now. You can have a strategic Bitcoin reserve as an individual, as a company, as a club, as an organization, as a board. You can have a strategic Bitcoin reserve. All you gotta do is choose to start doing it. Okay. Same thing with living on the Bitcoin standard. Okay. As soon as you start saving in Bitcoin, you are in essence in a Bitcoin standard, right? As soon as you stop saving in dollars and refusing to contribute to the system by taking the value of your savings and putting them in Bitcoin, you are starting to live on the Bitcoin standard, right? You don't have to participate in like in buying and selling with Bitcoin, right? But just to get started, you can just start saving in it, right? And you don't have to wait for the whole world to switch over. You can do it now. You know, there's people that have been living on the Bitcoin standard for a long time already. Koji Monster in the house. What up? Good to see you, Koji. Thanks for tuning in. Guys, if you haven't seen our latest video, there we go. Our latest video, which is the channel trailer for this very show, I want to ask you guys to go check it out after this live stream so that it gets more view time and can rank higher and all that good stuff. Okay. So I'm going to put it in the chat for later. It's in the chat. You guys can watch it a little bit later. And share that video with somebody that maybe is asked you about Bitcoin, right? I'll come back to this point right now, but let's finish the Why We Stack segment, okay? So that's what it is. Super simple. Buy Bitcoin, you take custody of the Bitcoin, and you're good. And I'm gonna do the thing that I always do. Sorry, guys. Plug your ears if you need to, right? Why do we save in Bitcoin? Because saving in Bitcoin is like traveling back in time and giving yourself a perpetually increasing retroactive raise for the hours you already worked for as long as you hold a Bitcoin that represents those hours. Okay. I was watching the BTC Prague 2025 presentations, and I caught Jack Mahler's presentation, and he used a time travel analogy as well, where he says that the dollar is used to time travel to the future and steal the prosperity of future generations. And that's golden. That's super good. That's super good, right? Well, now you can use Bitcoin to time travel to the past and give yourself a perpetually increasing retroactive raise for as long as you hold a Bitcoin that represents those hours. Come on. Okay. Once you liberate the money from the physical world, right? Time travel is possible, I guess, right? Kind of, in a way. Is it time travel? Is it time travel, guys? I don't know. Did I just time travel the value of my hard-earned work into the future? Right? And since it doesn't cost me anything to just hold Bitcoin, then there's no decay on that value. Therefore, it can continue to exist in perpetuity, right? It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. One of the few things you get from Bitcoin. One of the things you get from Bitcoin, right? All right, let's go back to that point I was making earlier. We'll call that good for the Why We Stack segment. Round of applause and shout out from a live studio audience for Jose. What up, Jose? And a gong. Hope all is well. We are continuing to stack. We just finished the Why We Stack segment with all of the analogies, and now we're gonna go back to, if I can remember what we were talking about. With what were we talking about with the channel? We're talking about whatever. We'll come back to it if I remember. Let's see. Oh, I got so sidetracked. I just completely lost my train of thought there. Anyway, we're growing the channel slow and steady. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic because I'm seeing a little bit of traction with that video. Oh yeah, that video we just put out. I put it in the comments. Go watch it later after this episode and use it as a way to help me grow. Oh, okay, hold on. That sounds selfish. Sorry, that sounds super selfish. Okay, if you want some of your friends or family to start to get into Bitcoin, but you don't know how to get them going, right? And you guys know I'm not a fan of Trump, right? I detest the guy, right? But I don't usually talk about politics here, right? I try to keep it super just Bitcoin, right? So my titles aren't like weird. I won't be posting stuff like cheerleading the administration or the regime or not, right? So my content is for the most part apolitical, and you can send it out to anybody that you're interested in learning Bitcoin, right? Send it to your friends, send it to your family, right? And up until now, it's been difficult to share that, because if you send them an episode of the live stream, it's a big commitment. Nobody's gonna click through a video of that's like 30 or 40 minutes when they get it. Like, no thanks. I'm not gonna commit 40 minutes to watch this random person yell about the price of Bitcoin and right. So we're gonna hit them with the number go up strategy, right? With my channel trailer. Right, it explains what we've been doing for the past couple of years. It shows the gains that we've made, and that's usually pretty good to get somebody's interest peaked, right? Especially if they're going through times where their investments aren't doing as well as they thought they would be, right? And it's pretty amazing, honestly. If you look at any investment and you're doing 50% gains year over year so far, you want to know about it, right? So. I'm hoping that with this channel trailer, it makes it easier for people to understand what we're about. And 2 years in, we have the track record now, right? We have the consistency of showing up and doing the thing that we claim is what we need to be doing. So we walk the walk, guys. We talk the talk and we walk the walk. So yeah, that is my petition to you guys. If you get a moment, share it on any of your social networks and with your friends and family that you think need to get orange pilled, and maybe they've heard it from you, but maybe they don't want to hear it from you. Maybe they want to hear it from me instead. All right. That's enough. That's enough of that. Let's jump into the next topic of the show, and that, of course, is the stack recap. Because we don't only talk about stacking Bitcoin here Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern. We actually do it. And here is the proof of stacking, the proof of work of our stack. So far in 2025, we've saved $4,140 so far. Dang, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. No wonder I have to eat sandwiches and a cup of noodles. It's because all my money's in here. Just kidding. We've saved $4,140, and that has grown to $4,794 for a 15.81% gain in 2025 so far, with 6 months and 26 days in. In 2024, we did the same thing. We saved $7,245.47, and that's currently worth $13,148,000 for a 79% gain in about a year. Okay, and now we go to the show's strategic Bitcoin reserve. And remember, a person can have a strategic Bitcoin reserve, a show, an entity, a bank, not a bank. I mean, a bank. I guess a bank could, a club, a business, a corporation can have a strategic Bitcoin reserve, and you can have your own personal strategic Bitcoin reserve. How do you start it? How do we start your own strategic Bitcoin reserve? By taking the value of that you're saving as a reserve, as your savings, and you take that and you deposit it into Bitcoin, and you hold the Bitcoin in your own custody, and now voila, you have a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Okay. Here is the strategic Bitcoin reserve for the Stack Bitcoin show. We've saved $14,949.98. Oh man, we're getting close to breaching 15,000, guys. That's cool. And it's currently worth $29,445 for a 96.96% gain. Right there, it's super simple. Are you not entertained, right? Is somebody that's struggling with savings and paying things off? Let's say you're in debt, right? And you want to start your strategic Bitcoin reserve, you might be asking yourself, is it better for me to send double payments to my credit cards or to my loans or whatever to get that debt knocked off? And people would say, yeah, you want to clear out all of the debt first before you start saving, right? Because it's costing you money to have those debts, Well, the calculation changes when you have an asset that's growing at about 50% year over year. Then it becomes a question of where is my money going to perform better? Okay. And bear with me here. I'm going to go into an example. Okay. Let's say you have a loan that is charging you 5-7% interest on that money. Okay. And you're able to make that payment. Let's say your payment is $100. Okay. And it takes $100 for you to make the minimum payment, and you're still paying 7% on the loan amount, right? So if you had an extra $100 every month, would it make more sense to send $200 to your loan so that you're knocking off $100 off of your principal? Or does it make more sense to send $100 and make your minimum payment on that 7% loan, and instead of sending the extra $100 that way, invest that or save that $100, that extra $100 into Bitcoin, which is going to get you about 50% gains over time? What would you do? That's a pop quiz, hot shot. What would you do? What is the better approach? And I want you guys to answer it in the chat. Carlos, Hard Huddle, Koji, Jose, Pipeline Podcast. What up, Pipeline Podcast in the house? Round of applause from the live studio audience for Pipeline Podcast. Hey, I don't mind if you're late, Pipeline. I appreciate you showing up. You show up consistently. I'm glad you're not a bot. We thought you were a bot for a while, but I'm glad you're here. Thanks for tuning in. All right. So with if you look at that apples to apples, right? What's the best? How do you compare that apples to apples, or however they say it, right? Apples to apples. Yeah, you're gonna knock off some of the value of your principal by sending double payments to your debt. But when you do that, you're paying that debt with today's money. You're paying that debt with strong money. Okay? What do I mean by strong money? I thought you said everything was weak. I thought you said money was losing purchasing power. Well, it is, right? But the money you're spending today has more purchasing power than the money you're going to spend next week, next month, next year. And depending on the term of the length of your debt, right? If you can pay back the debt with future money, right? Since you're saving in Bitcoin anyway, the future money that you're paying that debt off in is going to be able to buy you less things anyway, right? So if you could pay the bank back with future money, you're getting them. You're basically flipping the game on them. They're losing to inflation, right? Because future money can buy you a lot less things, and since the debt is denominated in dollars, they can't say, "Oh no, we need this much more now." No, you already got your interest rate. We already agreed on what the payment was going to be, and you agreed on the interest rate. Here's the number of dollars I have to pay you, right? You didn't say it depended on the price of Bitcoin. So what happens is, yes, the answer, in my opinion, is to take the extra $100 and put them into Bitcoin instead of sending a double payment to your payment, even if it's like 5%, even 15% interest on that debt. I know it sounds crazy, right? But if you take that extra $100, put it into Bitcoin, it grows, 50% year over year. Wouldn't that be able to pay your debt faster? Right? Wouldn't that be able to pay your debt faster? And it's a win anyway, right? So if you decided to, you know what, my priority is to pay my debt off as soon as possible, so I'm going to send double payments. Even if your priority stays the same and you're going to pay the debt off as soon as possible, it would still be better for you to save in Bitcoin, because as that Bitcoin grows, it's going to get to a break-even point where you can just sell off that whole stack and pay the debt. That'll happen before you're done paying it if you send double payments, I think. Am I right? I don't know. We might have to make a chart with this, guys. This is a good data point. Jose, does that sound like something that we could figure out? The idea here is to show the difference between paying off a debt by sending double payments versus how quickly you can pay it off versus sending your second payment to a Bitcoin savings and watching that grow and see how fast you can pay off the original debt if you end up selling that whole stack, right? What happens first? Would you be able to pay it off sooner if you're saving in Bitcoin, or would you be able to, or would it be about the same? I think that you'd be able to pay it off sooner, right? And then you have the question: should I sell the Bitcoin and pay it off sooner that I've been saving, right? And turn that Bitcoin right now into cash and then pay off the debt early? Why? Why? Why would you pay it off early? Oh, so I don't have to pay the 7%. Who cares? Pay the 7%, right? Because if you factor in the 50% gains you're making on Bitcoin, then you're what? Then you're still making like what, 42% gains, right? Is that right? 50 minus, yeah, right? So when you get to the point where your Bitcoin savings that you sent over to Bitcoin instead of making the double payment is enough to cover the balance of your loan, that's the other decision point. Do you sell the Bitcoin to finish do you sell the Bitcoin to be free and clear and stop paying the loan, right? Or do you just continue to do what you're doing and just pay the loan to term, right? I would just pay the loan to term and keep stacking. right? I mean, you can look at it two different ways. Because I would just pay the loan out during the natural schedule of that loan. I wouldn't even sell the Bitcoin that I've been saving to pay off the loan. Because once you got to that point, who knows what, like you'd have to sell your stack, bulk drop that money into the loan and get it cleared out. But that does two things. It actually closes an account on your credit. It doesn't really help you for credit long term. Credit works with, like, they want you to have longer accounts, right? And that are in good standing. So just make your payment on time and you'll be fine. Anyway, I know it's a complete side mission here from what we normally do, but it's just something that's been on my mind. And yeah. We can put something together to show that. Yeah, I think we'll probably work on something like that. And I've been playing around with ChatGPT, and it makes some pretty cool charts. We just have to know what we're asking for, and that'd be cool. Maybe we could do a couple of charts. One with like a 5% interest loan, a 15% interest loan, maybe like a 20% interest loan, because like some people have credit cards that are over 20%, which is crazy, right? But even then, would this strategy work in those situations? Like, it would just take a little bit longer for I don't know. I don't know. It's a lot of stuff to kind of dig into. Anyway, because of compounding interest, the longer you have that 50% return on Bitcoin versus 7% interest on a loan, the better off you will be. Yeah. Because they're both compounding, right? But the 7% is compounding on a lesser amount because you're paying it off, and the 50% is compounding on a bigger amount because you're increasing that what do you call it? That principal, right? I don't know. It's some interesting stuff. It's crazy that how you can once you understand how Bitcoin works, you can use it, and you sprinkle Bitcoin into stuff. It changes the way everything works. It changes the way the standard stuff works, right? Crazy. Anyway, all right. Let's finish off. We did the strategic Bitcoin reserve for the show update, and we're currently at 0.3778510 Bitcoin. We're at, we're getting there. Okay, the price of Bitcoin right now is at 107,000. It's getting a little mini dip right now, so let's do that. Let's do what we came to do, guys. Today we're going to buy $20 worth of Bitcoin on the Stack Bitcoin show. So let me open up that section of the show. Now that we know how much Bitcoin we're going to buy, there's only one thing left to do, and that is it's time to stack some Bitcoin, baby. Let's go. That's right. We're back over on Strike. They got me off the naughty list. Let me out of detention. Said, bro, you're stacking too hard. that said, let me do what I want. Let me stack them sats. Let me buy that Bitcoin, son. On this little mini dip, queuing it up for $20 worth of Bitcoin over on the Strike app. And we're queued up. I'm gonna hit next. Ooh, I'm gonna cut the music. Hit confirm, and we're going. Buying $20 worth of Bitcoin right now on the Stack Bitcoin show. On our way to one whole Bitcoin, $20 at a time. And as the channel grows and we're able to generate revenue from this actual show, I'll be pumping all that money into our strategic Bitcoin reserve. And hopefully we can get our strategic Bitcoin reserve, our SBR. We can get it to one whole Bitcoin. Choo! Can you imagine this show goes from like one whole Bitcoin? Eventually the show is going to be able to retire. And I might have to go on vacation, guys. I'm going to have to go and do cool stuff. Live stream from different countries. Live stream from my boat. I think the Stack Bitcoin show needs its own boat. Just saying. When Lambo. Because of I got it. All right, let's update the spreadsheet with the buy we just did. 2025 spreadsheet, there it is. Right there. Today is 6/26/25. The price of Bitcoin we deserve today is $107,088.83 Bitcoin. We bought $20 worth, and that got us 0.00018508 Bitcoin. That's 18,508 Satoshis added to the stack. It's pretty rad. Just like that. We continue. Look at that. Look at all those stacks we've done, guys. You guys are awesome. Look at that. Jeez. And we continue. Bitcoin goes up, we buy. Bitcoin goes sideways, we buy. Bitcoin goes down, we buy harder. That's wild. Wild. Do you remember when we're like hovering around, like, I forget, like 76, like the last all-time high, whatever it was, or 67 or whatever, and our total value of our show's strategic Bitcoin reserve was about, like, it was like 29,000, 28,000, sometimes 30,000, right? And I'm like, wow, we keep stacking at these rates, because we were doing like $40 stacks. We're doing like $40 stacks, $80 stacks. And yeah, let's look at that. And now, like, we jumped up from like bouncing around the 29s to 29, 28, $30,000 worth of value. We popped off to like 40,000. Like, I was like, holy smokes, now it's 40,000. That's wild. Oh, here it is. Let's see. Yeah, look at that. We're doing double stacks for days. Look at that. From here. Guess that's one. That's a quadruple stack, double, quadruple, quadruple. Look at all these. All these are double stacks. When Bitcoin got dipped down to $76,914, quadruple stack. Boom. Double. Damn, I think we've done more double stacks. We're catching up. But that got us. That's what I'm saying. Like, that got us some really nice returns already. So I know we buy all the time, but we buy extra when it's extra cheap, right? Knowing that, I mean, what was the news saying? What were the people saying on Twitter and on X, whatever you call it these days, and on the YouTube? They're like, oh yeah, it's gonna go down to 50,000, or it's gonna go down to 58K again, or it's gonna go down to 70,000. Wait for it. And we're like, we're not waiting for nothing. We're buying right now. since it's below our average buy price for 2025, we're doing double and quadruple stacks. Gee, dang, that's cool. That's cool, right? When Germany was dumping their Bitcoin and people were freaking out, should I sell? Should I sell? We were buying, guys. We're buying. Look at those German Satoshis right there. German sats. We bought $20 worth and now it's worth $37. We bought $40 worth and now it's worth $75. See, it's cool. It's cool. It's crazy. You know, we have the conviction. We understand what we're buying. We know that when Bitcoin dips, it is in fact a gift. Damn. Oops. Damn. So crazy. The chart boys always try and get people to stay away from DC. I know, hard hodl. I know. Oh well, you know, it happens. Okay, I have some homework for you today. I need you guys to go watch that video. After the show, I want you guys to go watch the oops, hold on. I accidentally pasted something wrong into the chat. I want you guys to go watch our channel trailer for the show. And share it with anybody that's ever reached out to you about Bitcoin, has been semi-interested in Bitcoin. Just be like, hey, I know you're interested in Bitcoin. I thought you might like this video, and just send it to them, okay? And maybe they'll get inspired to start stacking. And if not, I mean, whatever. It's one more contact than, you know, like it seems like. When you're trying to convince somebody to start to look into Bitcoin, you tell them about Bitcoin, they're like, oh, you're nuts. You're crazy. That's criminal money. That's not safe. That's a scam. Whatever, right? And then you're like, well, it was this much and now it's this much. And you're like, yeah, they're like, whatever. It's still scary. I don't think so because I heard it's going to go down. Okay, fine. Cool. All right, cool. All right, no worries. And then like a month later, 6 months later, a year later, you talk to that person again. They're like, oh, so... You're like, hey, what about now? Are you interested in Bitcoin? It's actually up since the last time we talked. And they're like, nah, I don't know. Maybe, but you know what? I think I'll wait for it to dip before I get started. Like, okay, cool, no worries. And then like another month, maybe another year passes by, and you're like, oh hey, we're talking about random stuff, and then it's like, oh yeah, are you still in Bitcoin? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm still in Bitcoin. Did you ever get into it? Like, no, I'm not sure. Like, I think I missed it or. Whatever, they always have, it's one or the other. I'll wait for it to come down a little bit before I get started, or it's a scam, or I think it's gonna go down further, or I missed it. I want to wait for it to come down, right? But all those different contact points, all those touch points, all those instances where you create a memory in them of talking about Bitcoin. Whenever you talk to somebody about Bitcoin, make sure they know what the price is at the time you talk to them, right? Because you can always come back and say, hey, look. Last time we talked about Bitcoin, it was at 30,000, and you didn't. And I mean, don't be rude. Don't say you didn't listen, even though you might want to say you didn't listen, right? But say, okay, then the next time I talked to you about Bitcoin, it was in the 50s. Then the next time I talked to you about Bitcoin, it was in the 70s, 60s, 58K, whatever. Then the next time I talked to you about Bitcoin, we're talking about it's about to go to 100, and you're like, it's probably never gonna happen, and it happened, and now we're talking about now we're playing in the 110 to 105 range, right? It's like, do you start to see any patterns, bro? Do you see any patterns? You know, I don't want to be too pushy, but if you're interested in learning about it, I think it's worth it. I think it makes sense. Not only am I into it, you know who I am, right? But the big banks that originally propagated the messages that are keeping you from participating in Bitcoin today are the very same people that are buying most of the Bitcoin now, right? So anyway, orange pill people, okay, and make sending them my video part of your process, right? It's just one more thing you send them, you know. Find the meme and send it over, right? I have a whole bunch of memes in my phone. I have a whole separate what is it called? Collection or album with just memes, with just Bitcoin memes, right? But all those little things help. All those little things help get people that to even think about Bitcoin for a couple seconds, and to realize that it's not a fluke, that it's not something that's that's a scam, right? Because they're hearing it from you, they're hearing it from somebody in their life that has been in their life for a long time and will continue to be in their life for a long time. You're not somebody flying by the seat of their pants, door-to-door salesman, or like what do you call it? Somebody just coming in and trying to like grift them, right? No, you told them you're into Bitcoin. You've been in Bitcoin. They know you're into Bitcoin, and they can see that you're not struggling as hard as maybe they are, right? And it's probably because you're into Bitcoin. Right? Anyway, so yeah, that's a hard pitch. I put the did I even put it in there? There it is. I kept talking, trying to make some space so I can get the link. I just put the link in the chat, so it's in there. Cue it up for next. Also, I just watched the BTC Prague presentation 2025 for Michael Saylor. It's pretty good. We'll talk about that tomorrow, maybe. His projection is Bitcoin will be worth $21 million in 21 years. So that's pretty cool, right? Can you imagine? Even if half of that prophecy comes through, right? $10 million Bitcoin in 10 years would be nice. Or even $10 million Bitcoin in 20 years would still be nice, right? But it's pretty good. Also, the presentation from Jack Mallers is good too. So Jack Mallers BTC Prague 2025. I like it. It has got a millennial perspective to it, which is really cool. Okay. Alrighty. So that is all I got for you guys. We kick off the music. We get ready. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. And I appreciate you guys showing up. Okay. Jose in the house. Hard Huddle. Koji Monster. Pipeline Podcast. And of course, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Carlos Jaramillo. What up, Carlos? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of the Stack Bitcoin Show. But until then, remember, if you ain't stacking, you're slacking. Bye, guys.